while I was preparing for this talk, so one of the nights, I decided I was going to wake up early. So I decided to set up my alarm to go off at 3 a.m. So I went to bed early, slept. And then I woke up and checked the clock, and it was 2:41 a.m. So I said to myself, I still have about, 19 minutes before the alarm goes off. So I said, let me take a quick nap. And then I went back to sleep. Woke up, checked the time, and the time was 3:41 a.m. Now, at that time, when I saw that it was 3:41 a.m., I had two questions. One, did that alarm clock go off and I didn't hear it? But the second question I had was, that sleep, that nap I had at 2:41 did not feel like an hour's nap. No, it didn't. It felt like 10 minutes, maybe at the most, 20 minutes. Anybody ever felt that way? That's how slippery time is. We come up with so many systems and plans to make sure that we stay on top of things when it comes to time, but it just keeps slipping away. We're all different. Like seriously, yes, we all have different personalities. And according to definition, personality refers to the individual differences in characteristic patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Basically, what that means is the way I think, the way I feel, and the way I behave would probably be different from the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave. So, if the way I think and behave and feel is different, don't you think that would affect how I interact with time? Let's take, for example, that I split everyone in this room into two groups. I say, Team A, you're going to be competing with Team B. If I were to look closely into one of the groups, in that group, we would find some people or that person that's going to step up and want to lead the team to victory. In that same team, we would find someone or some people that don't want to be the team leader. They step back, but they're willing to support the team. They're like the team players. We love good team players, right? And in that same team, we'll find that one person, or maybe you're that one person, that's just there to have fun. This is a competition, but we can still have fun. And on the other hand, you would find that person or a group of people that want to know the rules and the regulations and make sure that everybody is sticking to the rules and the regulations. That's how different we are. So if I were to take, for example, maybe the team leader will probably be somebody that loves intriguing projects, right? Probably somebody that loves to be a leader, of course, in a team, but loves challenging projects. So if that team leader was working on a particular project and I want to get him to work on my project, all I would probably have to do is to introduce him to this very intriguing and very challenging project that he gets to lead. And he might leave the project he's working on and jump on mine. What I'm trying to say in essence is how personality determines our distractions. It determines the tasks that we're interested in, and of course, the tasks that we're not interested in. When you're flying and you're in the plane all seated nicely, you get to the part where an announcement comes up, or maybe the flight attendant comes up and gives us a couple of instructions. And then they get to the part where they say, when this plane is going down, oxygen mask is going to drop down, and then they explain to you how to put it on. Now, they move on and explain that. For the people on the plane that have little children, please put the mask on yourself first, and then you can put it on the child after. I'm going to be honest. That part gets me every time. Because you know what? The super mom in me wants to put the mask on the child and then worry about myself later. I mean, that's what superheroes do. They go in, they save the day, and then they worry about themselves later. But you and I both know that my most important task at that time is to put the mask on myself. Why? Because I need oxygen to stay alive long enough to be able to save that child. So if I were to tell you right now to take a look at all the tasks that you have to carry out on a typical day and ask yourself this question: what is your most important task? Now take a second look at those tasks you have to carry out on a typical day and ask yourself, what is really your most important task? Could it be that sleep that you sacrificed? Or could it be that exercise that you canceled? Or could it be those moments you were too busy to laugh out loud? Or could it be those moments that you just decided not to live in the moment? When we understand our most important tasks in a day and we carry out those tasks, we can actually be superheroes in our day. Now, it's not a coincidence that the word spend is used with time, the word spend is used with money. We spend time, we spend money. The only difference is when you spend money, you can't get your money back. You can just ask for a refund and you get your money back. But when you spend time, that's it, gone. So it's okay to say 24 hours and just think about it in form of $24. So if I were to give you $24 and say, here you go, $24, that's all you get for a day. If you were to walk into a grocery store, you're heading straight for the essentials. No distractions, right? And you get to the till, you find an item that you want to buy that does not have a price tag. Oh boy, you're going to call the clerk and say, excuse me, clerk, how much is this? Why? Because you want to make sure that you stay on budget. You don't want to overspend, right? Because literally in your mind, you're adding everything up to make sure that you stay within the $24. So, whenever you have a task presented to you, the big question is, ask yourself this. Do you want to spend your time on that task? Is that task really worth your time? Let's be honest, we're like superheroes, right? We wake up, we start our day, we conquer the day and move to the next one. So whether you're a superhero powered by energy drinks or caffeine or any energy boosting supplements, we all know that there are times in the day when we're so alert and so focused. And of course, there comes a time when we're hungry and tired. We all have a biological clock in us. Like literally every cell in our body, according to science, has its own clock, the biological clock. And this biological clock produces circadian rhythms. And for some people, their biological clock is faster than 24 hours. And for some, their biological clock is a little slower than 24 hours. Basically, what I'm talking about is the people that have their biological clock faster than 24 hours, you know those friends that you have, or maybe you have a friend that wakes up in the morning and like, yay, it's morning. Those are the people we call the morning people. And the ones that have a slower than 24 hours, they're the ones that wake up in the morning and say, oh goodness, it's morning already. Those are the night owls. Now the world we live in, luckily for the morning people, is actually kind of creative for them. Because when you think about it, school starts in the morning, business starts in the morning, like everything just kind of starts in the morning. And so for the morning people, they just start their day with so much energy, and then they start feeling the deep later on in the day, maybe after lunchtime. But then the night owls, they get up, they start their day with like low average energy, and then it picks up later on in the day. What I'm trying to explain is that we all have varying energy levels in a day. And if we were to look at the tasks that we have, we should find a way to structure our tasks to cater to these varying energy levels in a day. So I'll give an example. You might want to be doing your most demanding task when you have your highest energy in a day. And then maybe you want to do your least demanding tasks when you have your low energy levels in a day. When we understand and embrace these varying energy levels in a day, we can really be superheroes in our day. Speaking of superheroes, every superhero has to fight one bad guy. There's always one bad guy. They fight the bad guy, they go and save the day, right? And the number one bad guy when it comes to time is resistance. Resistance in terms of imposter syndrome. You know that feeling you get when you're carrying out a task and you feel like, I'm not qualified to do this, and then you decide not to do the task? Resistance in form of doubt, guilt, overwhelm, negative self-talks, or even resistance in form of everything has to be perfect before I get started. You know that moment you're supposed to carry out a task and you decide to go clean out your kitchen instead. If you understand your resistance and you manage that resistance, then you can reclaim your power over time. If you just take a look quickly at the screen, I've talked about 5 things. I've talked about P, personality, O, oxygen, W, worth. Is this worth my time? I've talked about E, energy levels, and I've talked about R, resistance. And beautifully enough, these 5 things form the acronym POWER. So every time your alarm clock goes off and you're about to start your day, ask yourself this question: how do I want to spend my time today? Thank you.